The Welcome to the Show podcast is independently produced by me, CT, and Manny Gomez. Help people find our show by leaving a 5-star rating and review wherever you listen. Thank you. All right, welcome back to the show. It's been a while. Manny, say what's up to the world.
Hey guys, what's up?
Hey man, yo, listen. Let's put all this bullshit aside, yo. I'm not here to shit on you. I care about you, so whatever you need, I'm here for you.
Okay.
So anything you want to say before we get this started, man? Because I don't want to be responsible for what you may or may not feel.
We should have won that series, man.
Okay.
We should have won that series. And of course, I'm talking about the Yankees Astros.
First of all, it was a great series.
It was a great series.
Definitely.
Few memorable moments.
You know what? That Nats versus Dodgers might have been just as exciting because it was like a Game 5, an elimination game, and the Nats overcame and won. But that Yankee series was definitely entertaining. So good job for whoever set that whole thing up.
I think it was whoever set that up. I think it was entertaining, but at the same time, it had to be frustrating for both teams. Even though the Astros came out on top, there were moments in that series where the best hitters on each teams weren't doing shit. And it just came down to a moment. Timely hitting, 2 walk-off home runs. I mean, how many series are you going to see where there are 2 walk-off home runs in? That doesn't happen very often. You might get 1 in a series. You got 2 in this one. You got Verlander and Cole, the two top pitchers in baseball. Fucking Yankees should have won.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you want to get all the Yankee stuff now and talk about the Nats and Cardinals, which feels like it happened a month ago.
Yeah, that series.
Towards the end of the episode. Or do you want to talk about the Nats real quick?
I mean, I feel like
the Yankees. Just have a good old Yankee roundabout.
I feel like I'm in the Yankee groove right now, so let's get the Yankee Astro stuff out of the way. And because I don't have much to say about Nats and Cardinals, I feel like that series was a joke. It was boring.
It was.
The Nats absolutely dominated the Cardinals.
Didn't I say that the worst thing that could have happened to the Cardinals that 10-run inning?
Yeah.
To defeat the Braves, and then you got this guy whose name I already forgot, the manager of the Cardinals, just dropping F-bombs left and right like it was the first day he learned the word.
I wonder if he regrets that.
Of course he regrets that shit. Like the way he spoke made it seem like he's not used to just blurting out stuff like that.
Yeah.
So he's definitely like losing sleep over it. Like he doesn't not that he regrets it, but he's definitely embarrassed.
And everybody was concerned about the Nats bullpen, which yes, in the regular season it sucked. They came through in that series. When they came in, they did the job, and I like what the Nats manager is doing. God, why don't I remember his name? Help me out here.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank here.
Hispanic guy, like him. He's part of the tribe. I'm with it.
Good guy.
Good guy. Could have almost lost his job this year and took his team to the World Series. Probably gonna get an extension now because of it. Deserves it, 100%. But anyway,
Dave Martinez.
There it is. I like his how he's strategizing, throwing out starters on their throw days instead of having them do regular throw days in the bullpen. He's using them coming out, in the games. He used Corbin out of the bullpen. Max Scherzer was ready to come out a couple times out of the bullpen. I think Strasburg came out of the bullpen a couple times. I like that. I like that he's strategizing that way. And I'm seeing here that the World Series odds, the Astros are heavily favored over the Nats, and I don't know why. Because the team that we saw in the ALCS from the Astros is beatable, for 100% beatable. And throw in now that they're going to be facing guys who can go toe-to-toe with their starters. And it makes, for me, this should have been a lot closer than what Vegas is predicting.
Yeah, I mean, not that they should be that heavily favored, but I just feel like this series was so similar to the 2017 series against the Yankees with the Astros, where it's like neither team hit again. And I really think there's something about the Astros playing against the Yankees. Like, they never looked that bad against any other team. Not even against the Red Sox that I feel like they looked that bad. It's like I felt like whoever caught the lead first in those games was going to win the game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
So I personally think the Astros are going to break out. Then again, they're facing even better starting pitching.
Way better starting pitching.
But I think what I meant to say is that when there's a glimpse of light that they're going to get a pitcher that they can handle, they're definitely going to score some runs, I think. I don't think we're going to see like the way Peacock came in the game and for the most part did not look out of sort,
Yeah.
I see the Astros winning the series. I hope the Nats win it cuz it'd be cool to see Scherzer just, chug a beer or shotgun a beer and punch someone in the face or something like the psychopath that he is. Man, let me point something interesting out. Yankees, number 3 in payroll. Dodgers, number 4. Mm-hmm. Cardinals, number 6. Astros, number 7. And the Nats, number 8.
Crazy. Where are the Astros? Did you say that already?
Astros 7.
Oh, okay. Because they're going to go up. Next year, their payroll is going to jump up to about $200 million next year.
Yeah. Braves, 14. Of course, we know the only team that doesn't fit into this is the Rays in last place, 30th.
And the A's.
Yeah. But honestly, man, this just shows that there's something to spending money and winning championships. Even though the Yankees are kind of a little bit of an exception because the majority of their money was on the bench with Stanton and CeCe. I guess CeCe's not even getting paid that much anymore, so forget about that.
No, he was getting. Yeah, that's true. He got like 10 or something this year. You're right.
This is more Ellsbury and
that's pretty much it.
This is more Ellsbury, Stanton. Who else is out there?
Betances
How much is
was
Encarnacion
hurt.
getting? Betances was hurt. Yeah,
Encarnacion I think gets about 20.
That's a good hefty paycheck.
I think. I'm gonna check.
I think that the Rays being the outlier, I mean, the Brewers are under the league average. They probably would have made it with Yelich, or probably would have had more success with Yelich, maybe. Twins are 18th. I gotta say, man, the better teams look like the teams that spend money.
Yeah. And the better teams have a better core too. I think the Red Sox have a better core, even though they didn't make the postseason. The Cubs have a better core. The Yankees have a better core. The Dodgers have a better core. The Astros for sure, better core. Those other teams, I feel like the difference is that they don't have a strong core. Like the Brewers have Christian Yelich, but other than that, who else is like a force on that team? Hader, but he's coming out of the bullpen.
They got lucky that Moustakas had a pretty good year.
Yeah, even the Twins.
Nobody even wanted to give him a contract in the beginning of the year.
Yeah, the Twins don't have a strong. The Indians have a strong core. I'm surprised their salary is pretty low, and they're talking about trading Francisco Lindor. Like, I don't know what the fuck they're thinking, but
well, they don't want to pay him, so.
But I mean, he's Francisco Lindor. You exercise the option on Corey Kluber, who was hurt all year, is a year older. Chances are he probably will replicate the kind of pitcher that he is, but chances are he's probably not going to because he is a year older, and history tells us that when pitchers get older, they typically get worse. Don't tell that to Max Scherzer or some of these other guys, but that's just chances are. But you exercise an option on Kluber and might trade Francisco Lindor. For me, I would rather spend the money on the younger guy and let the pitcher walk away. But that's just me, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
I don't even know why we're talking about the Indians, man.
Yeah, me neither. The only point I wanted to make was that these teams on high payrolls are not only did they go deep into the postseason, but they look like they'll be there next year as well.
Yeah.
So just wanted to point that out.
Thanks for doing that.
I'm afraid to go to the beginning, the earlier episodes that we dropped this season and see what our predictions were for the Nats. I remember myself ripping them for paying Corbin that money. And look at them now. They're in the World Series.
Insane.
And they can win it. Don't know if they will, but they can. That's the point. Like, I'm so happy to beat the Cardinals, man. I thought the Cardinals were kind of overrated.
I do too. I don't know how they made it to the postseason, to be honest. I thought they would be third in that division, and somehow they ran away with it. I guess the Cubs are really that bad this year.
Yeah.
But back to the Nats St. Louis series. As I said before, not much stood out to me aside from the fact that Steven Strasburg keeps solidifying himself as one of the best postseason pitchers ever, which is surprising.
Yep.
Max Scherzer is a beast still. I don't, even though he had a rough start to one of those games, he still manages to finish strong. He's a gamer. Anthony Rendon is a freaking beast. Juan Soto is a fucking animal. And by the way, did you see? I think it was John Boy that broke it down. One of the matches between it was between Juan Soto and I forget who the pitcher was. Was it Flaherty in the Cardinals, where Juan Soto stares at a pitch going inside, and he does kind of like a merengue dance or something. It looks like, and then he grabs his crotch. Did you see that video?
Yeah, he does a little shimmy and then grabs his crotch. Yeah,
I've never noticed that until John Boy pointed that out. That's a fucking weird ass thing to do. But anyway,
we were talking about it. We were talking about it in our chat.
Yeah, we talked about it in the chat. But I had seen
against the Dodgers.
Yeah, I had seen the John Boy breakdown. Oh, during the Dodgers, maybe I missed that one. But anyway, and then I think Flaherty ended up winning the matchup, and Flaherty then went and grabbed his crotch next to Juan Soto. The same way you see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Juan Soto's a fucking animal. Anthony Rendon, their rotation is beast. Who's that center fielder? He looks like a child for the Nats. He's pretty good.
Michael Taylor.
Michael Taylor. He had a good DS and CS actually, and he made a couple of good plays in the outfield. I am not sleeping on the Nats.
It might be Michael Taylor. I'll get back to you on that. I don't think it's Michael Taylor. I think Michael Taylor does look like a child. Mm-hmm. But did you mean? Oh man, it's just slipping my mind right now. Because their starting center fielder's the guy that we said led the league in defensive runs saved. Robles, is that who you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about Michael Taylor.
Oh, okay, yeah, Michael Taylor.
And fucking Howie Kendrick, man. Where did he come from?
Dude, this veteran leadership that I ripped in season 1, it just keeps coming back around to bite me in the ass, man. These veterans are legit. Everybody needs a veteran. Everybody needs a 4-year-old Max Scherzer or a 50-year-old Howie Kendrick.
Mm-hmm. And so my takeaway is don't sleep on the Nats. Their story this year is incredible. They were 19-31 at one point. I forget who posted this on Twitter. It might have been Rosenthal or only one of those, big MLB guys. That they had like a 0.1% chance of making the postseason at that point. Not only did they make the postseason, they're in the World Series. And I'm ready to talk about them as a series contender against the Astros. I would not be surprised if the Nats walked away with the championship this year.
Yeah, here's a look at Michael Taylor's postseason numbers. This goes back to 2016. He's 381 on base, 921 OPS.
Not bad.
Pretty good. He's 28, but he does look like a child. You're right.
He looks like a baby.
All right. So your prediction is what do you think? 7-game series?
I think it goes 7, and my brain is saying Astros. My heart is saying Nats. I'm gonna go Nats, just because I can't root for the team that beat me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna go Stros in 6.
Nice. Okay.
Strosy. Good old Stros. Anyway, we probably should have gave our predictions towards the end because we do have to talk about the Astros and the Yankees.
That's a good point.
Which I think we should spend a good amount of chunk of this time talking about it because I gotta say a couple things that I promised the world I would say at the beginning of the end of last season.
All right.
Welcome to the show. Last season, I think, is when I made the promise. You'd have to go back and check. Our crazy fans out there who keep stats of everything that we do.
Millions of them.
Get back to me. All right, Manny. So let's. I feel like we can go game by game. The first thing that sticks out to me was that Greinke start in the Bronx.
Oh.
Like, I feel. Right. I sent you a text that you may disagree, but Greinke is actually pitching better than I had thought. I didn't think Greinke was going to make it out of the 3rd inning in that game, but when he started and he walked DJ LeMahieu on 4 pitches. I think is how he started that game. Mm-hmm. And then I think he threw 2 balls after that to Judge. I noticed that he wasn't missing by a lot. And a lot of those calls, depending on who the umpire was in the series, because there was this umpire in particular who had, to me, a horrible game. He had a wide strike zone. Depending on who the umpire was, he probably could have not hit the Yankees, obviously, but close to it, I think. I think his curveball was spot on and the fastballs were just missing, and the Yankees were taking really, really good pitches. If the Yankees had that approach against another starting pitcher, they might have won the series because I do feel like they were swinging early in the count a lot, and I think that was their approach against Garrett Cole and Verlander, the two best strikeout pitchers. I think their approach was like, let me jump on the only good pitch I'm probably gonna get in this at bat. Yeah. So for any of you fans that were frustrated out there about, you know, why Didi was swinging at all these pitches, Didi missed a 3-run home run by a foot.
Like a foot, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that represents this series better than anything else. That missed home run by a foot, because this was truly a series of almost for the Yankees. Like, you had Verlander on the ropes, almost pulled it off, couldn't do it. You had Verlander on the ropes in Game 2, almost beat him and couldn't. Took a walk-off home run. You almost beat, did I say Cole already? Almost beat Cole, didn't work. Game 6, you almost had them. Couldn't do it. It's like, you know, every opportunity that they had, without exaggerating, I don't have the numbers in front of me or anything. I feel like had the Yankees came through in 2 or 3 moments, and there were a lot of moments, in just 2 or 3 moments, they could have won this series 4-1. This could have been over in 5 games. That's how close this was. And you could say the same thing for the Astros, and vice versa. You know.
Yeah. I mean,
like that. I'm sorry to keep interrupting you. That Verlander game, all it took was a home run in the first inning to win. Nobody scored for the rest of the game. It was just that one first inning. Like, it was insane.
I'm amazed with Verlander and Cole and even Greinke, because those guys had their one bad inning, and that's it.
That's it.
Verlander, even in Game 2, the one that the Astros won off the walk-off, he gave up that home run to Judge, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, they had a 1-0 lead. He gave up a home run to Judge, goes down 2-1, and that's it. That's the one mistake he made. The home run to Hicks, I mean, hit the foul pole.
Yeah.
It could, if it missed by an inch, we who knows, right?
Almost, exactly.
But I'm amazed, man. Like, those moments can break a pitcher in the postseason.
Oh my God.
Like, I don't picture Severino giving up a 3-run homer in the first inning and bouncing back, even though the start he did have against what was it, where he actually went like 6 innings.
It was Cole. It was the one against Cole, but I think he only went 4 innings. He could have gone 5. I'm surprised that they didn't send him back out there. But he started off really poorly, and he found it. I think he recorded like 10 straight outs after that, or something like that. Yeah. What did
you think about the moment where Paxton was in, like, I think the 6th inning, and Boone comes out to take him out? And he's like, "Nah, I'm good. Leave me in." And then Chirinos hits a bomb. But
oh my God!
The balls had to be unjuiced.
Something, man, because there were hits, there were shots in that game that I thought were for sure gone, and they were landing in the warning track. There were warning track shots.
Yeah.
No, I liked that Boone left him in the game, and then when I saw that shot, I was like, "Oh fuck, that was the wrong move." But then you saw in the later on, they showed Aaron Boone say something to Paxton in the dugout, and they kind of laughed it off, like, "Holy shit, we almost fucked up right there." But I like that move, and Paxton had yeah. I don't even know what I'm saying. I want to jump from game to game. Like, I want to go, like, I'm jumping from Game 1 to Game 7 to Game 6 because I have so much to say. Like,
yeah, you go ahead,
almost man. Like for me, taking J Happ out of the game in what was the opener game in Game 6? I think was a mistake. They should have kept him in. Ottavino, man, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
But you know what? I want to. Let me just, spoiler alert, guys. I think the Yankees are cursed. I'll explain more as the episode goes on. But the reason I have to say that they're cursed, man, is because it's the day after I'm listening to sports radio, or days after I'm listening. You know, it's Monday. Today is like not really the day after. Sunday was the day after. Mm-hmm. But Monday, I listen to a lot of sports radio, and a lot of fans are calling. Some people are calling for Boone. Some people are calling for Cashman. Some people are calling for Aroldis Chapman. And, like, I honestly don't think anybody can get blamed. I mean, you guys didn't come through in the situational hitting, but runners in scoring position. But everything that the Yankees are came. Like, did people forget that Brian Cashman put together like a 100-win team with nothing, and that it's the players, the superstars that didn't get it done? Like, there's nothing. I feel like, you know, you could say that you needed starting pitching, but the starting pitching wasn't the issue in this series. So I think people need to relax. I think that people.
To put this into context, here's some numbers for you guys, and this came out of MLB Network. I forget where I saw this, but anyway, here's some numbers just to put this into context, because these Yankees, I'm a Yankees fan, but there's some Yankees fans out there that need a fucking reality check. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. It almost feels like they became a Yankees fan yesterday or something.
Yep.
But here's some numbers to put it into context. The Yankees scored 17 runs this series. The Astros scored 16. The Yankees hit 199. The Astros hit 178. With runners in scoring position, the Yankees hit 172. The Astros hit 103. The Yankees had 8 home runs. The Astros had 6. The Yankees had a 2.66 starter ERA. The Astros had a 2.90 starter ERA. The Yankees had a 2.42 bullpen ERA. The Astros had a 4.20 bullpen ERA. To me, like I keep saying, this series was a series of moments. And my phone just thought I said Siri, because Siri's a bitch. Anyway. But yeah, it's a series of moments, and I keep pointing to those 2 walk-off home runs, the Altuve home run and the Correa home run. Those 2 walk-off home runs is a prime example of that. They came at, the Altuve one came with 2 outs in the 9th, facing Aroldis Chapman. That's the exact matchup that you would want in that moment. But it just so happened that Altuve got the right pitch and it went over the wall. He beat us. You just have to give him credit sometimes. Like, we played better than you, but at the end of the day, you won. And that's it. Like, I got to tip my cap at them. That's why, like, I was really upset after the game was over, and the next day I was depressed and all this shit. But then when that depression settles away and you start to look at reality, this could have just as well have been us, and the Astros could be saying the same thing we're saying today, because they, in all actuality, we both played a poor series. It just so happens that they came out on top in 1 or 2 or 3 situations. Had the Yankees had that 1 or 2 or 3 situations, had that Didi Gregorius ball gone 1 foot further, maybe it would have been us celebrating. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and just to put some numbers for the Astros, Yordan Alvarez, 22 at bats, 1 hit,
insane,
12 strikeouts. Alex Bregman, 18 at bats, 3 hits, 4 runs, which is okay, I guess. 4 runs in a series where nobody really hit. Yeah. 7 walks. So 7 walks, I'll take it. Yeah. His on-base percentage was .423. I'll take it, but he didn't hit. The guy is probably the best all-around player that they have.
Probably the MVP this year.
Yeah, and didn't hit. George Springer, World Series MVP, and he comes through in the playoffs. 25 at bats, 4 hits. Yeah. So besides Altuve, which by the way, man. Altuve.
Jesus.
23 at bats, 8 hits, 2 home runs, 348 batting average, 1.097 OPS.
He's a monster, man.
That's some sizzling hot.
He turns it up in the postseason. He's one of these players, turns it up in the postseason. He becomes Barry Bonds in the postseason.
I don't know what stat that was, but him and Springer are like 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, or 2 and 3 in home runs in the postseason already.
Yeah.
And they're gonna keep piling it on because I don't see anybody taking the division next year either. So the Astros did it right. I think that we're living in an Astros dynasty. If they win this World Series, I gotta call it a dynasty. I don't know if you're gonna go as far to say that.
I think they're definitely they're like the best comparison that I can think of with the Astros is they're like the Golden State Warriors of the MLB.
Yeah, current.
Like they made
if there is such thing,
because the Warriors had the best team in basketball by far over the last 5 years, but I think they only got 2 or 3 championships. I don't remember. They lost to the Cavaliers when LeBron had that insane finals, and then they lost last year to Toronto. So they have 3 in 5 years.
Yeah, and I don't know what's gonna happen with Verlander or Garrett Cole next season. Garrett Cole's gone. I don't think the Astros are gonna be able to keep him, but they have prospects.
Yeah, they
have prospects down there that are highly touted pitching prospects.
That guy that came in relief, what's his name? Urquidy or something like that?
I can't pronounce that name.
He was released by a team and nobody picked him up. They decided to waste a waiver pick to pick him up last year because they see something in this kid, and he shut us out. He shut us down, and he's been a beast in the minors. They're thinking he's going to be one of the next big starters in that rotation. They're calling for him to be in the rotation next year.
There you go. I remember Forrest Whitley. I know he had kind of like a down season in the minor leagues, but I wouldn't be shocked if he turns it around by spring training.
Well, look what happened with Charlie Morton. They let him walk away, and they were fine. They played better this year than last year, actually. And not because Charlie Morton was bad or whatever. It's just that their scouting is phenomenal. You got to give it to the Astros. They fucking they tanked those 3 years and they made the best out of it because this team is going to be good for the next. They could be good for the next decade easily.
Yeah, definitely relevant at least with those superstars.
God damn it.
So man, listen, I think the Yankees are cursed. I could point to a couple reasons of superstitiousness. Superstitiousness.
Hit me.
Do you want me to get into that now, or do you have anything else you want to get off your chest?
Well, no, I just want to. Another thing I wanted to point out, not necessarily about the postseason, because it was a heartbreaking postseason. I can't blame Boone. I can't blame Cashman. The only people that can shoulder the blame for this loss has to be the players. There were a couple of players here and there that just didn't pull through when it mattered. Encarnacion was a beast for us during the regular season when he was healthy. He disappeared in the postseason. Didi Gregorius had a bad season this year, and it seemed like he had an even worse postseason. Gio Urshela, I can never say his name, had a good regular season, was okay in the postseason, but he's an absolute gamer. Ottavino had a really good regular season, fucked up in the postseason. The players, at the end of the day, the players have to come through, and they didn't come through. And what are you gonna do? Like with Gary Sanchez, I could sit here and bash him for those past balls or whatever. There's another almost, like had he just fucking stayed in front of the ball, a run couldn't have scored or something. But let's be honest, he had a better defensive season this year. He's improving, so hopefully he's better next year. As a Yankees fan, I can't complain. Like I keep saying, that's like my new phrase as a Yankees fan is that I just, for me, it feels wrong for me to complain because, CT, as I pointed out to you in today's chat, how many fans could say that their team has done this in the last 25 years? 21 postseason appearances, 14 division titles, 7 pennants, 5 rings. And the best part of it all is that next year, we're going to have another shot. And if this team continues to develop the way it's been developing, we too can be competitive for the next 5 to 10 years. We just have to find a way to get over the hump. I feel like the Yankees are the Knicks and the Astros are the Bulls of the 90s. We need to find a way to beat the Bulls. I don't know how that's going to happen, but I feel like it's going to happen. I have a good feeling about this team.
So, I would say that. Hey, okay.
Moving on.
You know no, I'm gonna piggyback on what you're saying. You know, you might have a chance next season. Keyword is might. I think that the Yankees are a great team. Obviously, 100 games, almost beat the Astros, who I thought was the better team. So I'm not surprised that they didn't beat the Astros. And it was an exciting series to watch. I hope we get more exciting baseball throughout the years. But I think I would, sit tight is what I'm saying. I think the Yankees are dealing with something beyond the grave. I don't know when it started. Their last World Series was in 2009. And I'm thinking about making a very detailed YouTube video where I'm going to highlight a lot of the things that I'm talking about right now. But just so anybody knows, if the YouTube video never comes out, this is pretty much the chunk of it. They haven't won since 2009. We all remember they spent a boatload of money on Mark Teixeira, CC, A-Rod was there. Jeter was there, was he?
Yeah, Posada was there. Mariano was still there.
Oh man, a bunch of old guys on cranes and wheelchairs, and they won it fair and square. I don't know when the curse started, but I want to point out for everybody, but like we make the postseason and we're good. All the teams that have been accused of being cursed have had World Series caliber teams in the World Series and lost. Mm-hmm. Yes or no?
Yes, yes, sir.
Would you agree? Would you agree that they've had? All right. So the first time that I got, the idea that they might be cursed was, and I can't find the date, but it was sometime in August when A-Rod retired in 2016. And I think you already know. I've mentioned this before. We hear that A-Rod's retiring. Super random. Season's not over yet. He was barely playing at all, DHing, and I guess they convinced. I know A-Rod didn't do this by his own will because he would stick his penis in a baseball if there was a hole to stick it in, but there's not. So this guy loves baseball. Who knows what they forced him to do to retire, but he retires before the season ends. And he's standing there. I go to the game with my dad and my brother and my mom, and he's standing there, and it's weird. It's like it's about to rain, and they say the word Alex Rodriguez. Boom, right there. You hear thunder, and I'm not just any thunder. I mean, like Zeus reached out of heaven and just like cracked a stick or something, and there was this eerie like thunder sound, and you just see A-Rod's eyes kind of like, wow, like the timing of that thunder and you saying my name could not have been at a worse timing. And then it starts raining. So everybody, I think the majority of Yankee fans hate A-Rod. I think this kind of ties into what the curse is, that it's more like a fan thing, because I feel like there's a lot of spoiled fans who don't appreciate what A-Rod was on the Yankees. I mean, regardless if he took steroids, obviously he did, he admitted to it, but the guy put up 2 MVP seasons and people would still shit on his name. And that's when I first started realizing, like, wow, like there might be some like higher power working against the Yankees right now. And what happened after that? Do you remember what happened after A-Rod retired, Manny?
Did we make the postseason that year? I don't think we made it that year.
No, but that was the year that Gary Sanchez was on a tear.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Was it 2016 that he broke out in
Yeah, 2016.
Yeah, 2016. Gary Sanchez gets called up with the good chunk of the season already over and just goes on a tear. It's like nothing we've ever seen before. And he's doing all this crazy shit, and everyone's like, oh, look how smart Brian Cashman is, that he never gave up Gary Sanchez for this guy and this guy. And I think that's important because A-Rod's gone, and they're hyping up Gary Sanchez, and he's still a part of the conversation today. But do you know what else happened that season, Manny?
What happened, CT?
Aaron Judge gets called up and goes back-to-back with Tyler Wade for his first home run of his career.
Yeah, and then he was trashed the rest of the way.
What?
Then he was trashed the rest of the way, I think.
Yeah, but the narrative was this. The baby bombers have arrived. Dun, dun, dun. Am I? Do you see the picture that I'm painting here?
I do, man. I do.
So, fast forward, 2017, Yankees, Game 7, ALCS. Nobody expected it. I didn't expect it. I was like, what the fuck? I was way off about this. They're about to go to the World Series. They're about to beat the favorite team of the year, the team that had the most wins. I think 101, 102, the Astros. Game 7. But they come up short. But obviously, everybody was saying, you know, we're way ahead of schedule. We're here. Aaron Judge could have won the MVP, wins the Rookie of the Year, breaks the rookie home run record. He should be the new captain of the Yankees. I could picture a bunch of Yankee fans just stroking it right now to Aaron Judge's numbers. Yeah, you know, a bunch of that stuff. But that doesn't change the fact that you guys came up short. Now, 2018, to put all of that into just one little Easter bucket, and you know, with a bunch of the eggs that I'm throwing at you guys right now, 2018 comes around, and obviously you might disagree, but everybody had the Yankees as the favorite in the AL East. I think the majority of the people did.
Here we go.
And it brings me to one. I'll probably go more into detail if I ever do make a video about this, but it brings me to one specific detail of the 2018 postseason when you guys beat the Twins in the wild card game, and the fans started chanting that we want Boston. Mm-hmm. We want Boston. Or I don't know how the chant goes.
We want Boston.
Okay, there it is. And it just goes to show what ends up happening is that Boston embarrasses the Yankees at home. To that, I wish I could find the clip. I'm gonna put this in the YouTube video if I ever find it, of Michael Kay, a guy that I consider super smart when it comes to baseball and not biased towards the Yankees at all. But he said the series was over after the Yankees beat the Red Sox at Fenway, and Judge was playing the Sinatra song in the subway somewhere, wherever the fuck that guy, wherever Aaron Hulk Judge was at that moment,
in the bowels of Fenway Park,
playing the Sinatra song, right? Something that I find so out of character for Judge. But then again, for all I know, Judge really is the second coming of Jeter, because Jeter was like this quiet guy that didn't do a lot of crazy shit, but the guy was banging supermodels left and right. Like, he couldn't have just been this saint, right? He dated some of the hottest girls that ever walked the planet.
Facts.
So who knows what Jeter was really like? I know I'm talking a lot, so I'm gonna bring this to an end shortly. And then the Red Sox, the worst thing that could have happened to the Yankees is that the Red Sox end up winning the World Series last year in a year where they were in Game 7 the year before of the ALCS. So I find all of this to be curse related. And then we get to this year. This year was fucking nuts when it comes to the Yankees. Most injuries ever that I will probably ever see, and yet you guys still ran away with the division.
Beast mode.
We get to the playoffs and everyone is healthy besides Betances. Well, Betances came back for like a day in August or September, but everybody is healthy and everybody was like, "Oh, what are they gonna do now? Like bench Urshela, bench Voit? Are we gonna start?" Oh, Hicks wasn't there either. But for the most part, everyone was healthy. Like you felt pretty confident with the team that you were putting up against the Astros. See or no, Manny? See or no?
See.
All right, so what ends up happening is you guys handle the Twins. I'll give you that. But then you start to see, actually, wait, in that Twin series, I thought this was a very small hint of cursiness. DJ LeMahieu starts the game with an error. Not just an error. He dropped a pop fly, a can of corn.
Yep.
What was that about? That's when I was like, holy shit, man, this curse thing might be real because this guy, who's probably the most solid defender next to Urshela that you have.
Yeah.
And solid. I think Gleyber Torres does a lot more than a lot of people can do. Like, I think he's superstar level defensively, but LeMahieu's solid, right?
And this isn't his natural position. He just started playing first base at the end of the year, and he took it up, and I consider him the best first baseman on our team. Like, if he's willing to stay there, I would leave him there.
Yeah, but then the Twin series is the Twin series, whatever. Then comes the Astro series. You have a game, I think it's game 4. You guys tie for the most errors. Something that I feel like I never see the Yankees do is make errors in the postseason. You guys tie for the most errors since like the 60s.
Yeah, for me, that game, I think you're talking about game 5. Was it game 5? No, game 4. They looked like they had quit. And they were just like, fuck, we're not winning this game. To me, that felt like a curse type thing too, because it reminded me of the lovable losers when the Red Sox, like when nothing could go right for the Red Sox, everything always went wrong. That game, the end of that game felt like that. For sure. I'll give you that for sure.
Yeah. And you're right. It did, and that's what I'm saying. Like something that I feel like you can never associate with the Yankees is shit like that. That shitty baseball. You can never associate that with the Yankees. Never in my life that I watch a game where I was like, wow, this is getting embarrassing at this point.
Yeah.
And that's the one game it ended 8-3. That was game 4. Tanaka started that game.
Yeah.
I think. Okay. So not only does that happen, but you could ask my brother about this. He'll prove that this is fact. I'm sitting there and I'm watching the Yankees beat the Astros in game 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, wow, like if this was a game that they were gonna win, this is crazy. They're beating Verlander, and they got him at home. They got Verlander away. So this is something that it's a big win for the Yankees, right? But what happens in that game? They literally chant. The fans chant, "Fuck Altuve."
Yeah, you're right. I remember that.
That's the mic drop right there, man. The one guy that sealed your defeat is the guy who I've never even heard of. I feel like Altuve is like this like little like, lovable character. They're always like, I think like he's like their judge kind of. Actually, Springer is kind of like their judge in my eyes, but Altuve is like the face of that franchise, and they're chanting "Fuck Altuve, man,"
for no reason too. It's not like he's like some
for no reason.
It's not like he's some villain or
Yeah, it's not like he's Bryce Harper. It's not like he's John Rocket. What was that guy's name? John Rocker. From Braves. Yeah, man, that guy was an asshole. But anyways, at that moment, I turned to my brother with a serious face and I go, "The Astros are winning this series. Period. Yeah, that's it." And that's exactly what happened. And you got to admit, the Yankees should have won Game 6 because the bullpen was something that we kept saying that would hurt the Astros.
Yeah, man.
They held it down. Down, man.
If Chapman can get out of that inning, make that final out to Altuve, I think the Yankees do go on to win the game. But like I said,
you like your chances there.
It's a game of moments, man. That was the matchup that you wanted. You wanted to see Chapman there at that moment. That was perfect. They had been using their bullpen all game. What's this guy's name? Got hurt. his knee got hurt. Was it Peacock? It wasn't Peacock. What the hell is this guy? Presley got hurt. So they had to go to their bullpen sooner than they wanted to at one point. You like the Yankees' chances, and then in a Game 7, anything could happen. At that point, the Astros had expelled their bullpen. That's why I didn't like the Happ move with Boone, because Happ had only gone 2 innings. He looked good in those 2 innings. I would have tried to extend him just in case you have a Game 7, then you have a well-rested bullpen, then your starter in Game 7 doesn't have to go as far. But why am I talking about Game 7? Because it didn't happen, because we lost. But the point is, I liked the Yankees' chances there. And that Altuve home run was like somebody taking your heart out. That's what it felt like, for sure. I'm going to give you another point, CT. I don't think as a Yankees fan, aside from 04, and 04 wasn't necessarily just one moment. It was a series of moments and then a game that we just had no chance in. That Game 7, we didn't even have a chance. In this game, it was like one big, fuck you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you get out of Game 6, you kind of not. I mean, you still have to face Garrett Cole fully rested at Houston, but I mean, all good things must come to an end. And the guy was like on a streak of 30 games where he dominated for 8 innings every start. Like, that's obviously exaggerating, but what I'm saying is that you don't know what that start with Garrett Cole was going to be like, because eventually, he gives up the 5-run game eventually.
Yeah.
And it was your second time seeing him in the series. And again, they had nobody coming out of the bullpen. They used all their good arms. Even though the Yankees did use a lot of their bullpen in the 3 games leading up to what would have been Game 7, I feel like a Yankees bullpen could have grinded that game out and helped Severino out in that game. So you do like your chances for the Game 7. But the point is, Manny, do you see that there may or may not be a curse?
There might be
upon the Yankees.
There might be. And if in 10, 20, 30, 40, 76 years we look back and we haven't won a championship, we'll definitely come back to this and say, fuck man, that's when it all started. Like, that was it. And
2009.
Yep.
2010. I gotta look at what significance 2010 had on the Yankee season. I gotta see what it was.
And I don't know, man. I don't even know.
Go ahead, man.
And
go ahead.
Just to point out the fuck Jose Altuve chant, some Yankees fans this offseason really put a bad taste in people's mouths about Yankees fans. And I just want to speak for us Yankees fans out there that go to games. We don't taunt people. We don't, I do curse here and there and shit. Just get over it. You're at a stadium. It happens. But I treat fans of other teams respectfully and vice versa. And I go to different stadiums because I live in a place where I'm close to Camden Yards. I'm close to Nats Park. I'm close to other stadiums, and I always get treated well in those places. That I'd hate for people to come into Yankee Stadium and feel like they can't root for their team or not feel safe. There's some people out there who are complete douchebags that should not be allowed back in the stadium. Like, there's a video floating out there of a guy throwing a beer can at an Astros fan in the bathroom. If I had been in the bathroom, I would have had some words with that guy. I'm more disappointed in the people around him that didn't stop him or say something to him or stand up for the Astros fan than I am in that douchebag, because he has no future. Fuck him.
Yeah, seriously, man. Like, how can you throw garbage at someone? That's like one of the most degrading things. Like, you might as well just spit on him.
Yeah, you're right. That guy's an asshole.
What about the fans that were throwing shit at Reddick? I think in the
people
outfield?
were throwing,
I didn't see it.
And people making fun of Greinke's disability, throwing shit at Reddick, and stop that shit, man. Like, you come into Yankee Stadium and you expect a hostile environment because the fans are ecstatic and they're happy. And I remember we went to that walk-off game in 2017, and when Didi Gregorius hit that game-tying home run in the first inning, the place erupted. But that's enough to disrupt the team. You don't have to start throwing shit and calling people names and fucking around with their fans and stuff like that. That's unnecessary. That's just like beating a dead horse. Like, keep that shit somewhere else. This isn't the fucking, this isn't a bar. It's a stadium. It's a game,
Now, I know you've had your experiences in Yankee Stadium of things similar to that nature, but I think that now that it's, I know. That's why I'm not going to say that, this is all on the fans. The fans are feeding into the curseness out there in the world, whoever's controlling it. Is it Satan? Is it God? I don't know. But I'm not going to say that the fans are the ones fueling this, but, now that a lot of these things are kind of starting to group themselves together, I think fans got to take some ownership. A-Rod was a big reason why you guys won the 2009 World Series.
I feel
like the majority of the fan base and the organization turned their back on one of the most lovable humans ever to walk the face of the planet.
Oh, wow.
So I think I'm kidding.
Wow. All right, there. Easy.
No, but honestly, if you're listening to this, go out there and see A-Rod retires. See, honestly though, if you're listening to this, go take a moment, go on YouTube and type in, find out the day A-Rod retired. See what the opening ceremony was like, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's something like straight out of a, I don't even know what it is, but it's on the line of superstitiousness.
And just to add to that, maybe you're right. I'm not gonna declare you correct yet, but
when they fired Girardi.
No. A-Rod was supposed to go to the Red Sox in 2004, and the Major League Baseball Players Association wouldn't allow him to restructure his deal so that the Red Sox could feel better about trading him. He really wanted to go to the Red Sox. They came to an agreement. He was going to restructure his deal, take less money, and the MLBPA said no. And that's how the Yankees came in and swooped A-Rod. What else happened that year? The Red Sox came back from 2003 to defeat the Yankees and win their first World Series in 86 years. So maybe A-Rod is this is the curse of A-Rod.
Maybe, but you know what? Had the Yankees not won in 2009, then I would have been like, yeah, you guys are definitely cursed, because they would have started with a 3-0 comeback from the Red Sox. But you guys won it in 2009.
But the difference between 2009 and some other curses is that in 2009, George Steinbrenner was still alive, and he was going to move heaven and earth to get that offseason. He literally signed every single big. That's like Hal Steinbrenner this past offseason signing Bryce Harper and Manny Machado. That's pretty much what the Yankees did in 2009.
Yeah, it was Teixeira and CC and Burnett.
AJ Burnett, who was good, instrumental in that World Series, but then he was absolute trash after that. I think he was like statistically the worst Yankee pitcher of all time. Like, not even exaggerating.
Yeah, and another thing too that I wanted to mention, but it's not the huge deal. But you're right, Gary Sanchez stepped it up this year. Not only did he hit good, but his defense was not a question.
No, he cut down his pass balls by like half. He was good defensively.
I think I was giving him credit as a good defender. He made me eat my words, because last year I had said if he keeps going down this path, he can't be the catcher of the Yankees, because you need a good defensive catcher, especially now with all these pitchers throwing sliders and all this crazy shit. But just for his defense to come into question and his hitting to come into question again in the most pivotal part of the season just goes to show, I think, that we're dealing with something here that's beyond the physical.
I think Gary Sanchez is mentally like immature or something.
Yeah, he's affected. Yep.
He's the kind of player that if something goes wrong, everything is going to go wrong. Like, it's like a snowball effect. Like everything is just going to keep getting worse and worse and worse and worse. He's like one of those guys. And once I think it was Britton that with the pass ball, because by the way, Britton was throwing some nasty shit, man. Like, nasty.
Yeah.
There was one strikeout that I was like, oh my God, like nobody could hit that shit. Anyway, I don't think, maybe it wasn't Britton. I can't remember who the pitcher was, but it was one ball that wasn't Gary's fault. It bounced in front of the plate, and it took a hop and it hit the umpire's chest, and you could hear the fans starting to say shit, and that kind of stuff affects Gary. He's the kind of player that gets to him. Like, if his own fan base turns on him, he starts to beat himself up. He's like a, what's a word some of our close friends say? It might be offensive, but I'm going to use it anyway. He's like a mental midget.
I would have said it, man. You didn't have to put yourself out there. I would have gladly. I don't see what the offensive is, but anyways, you're right, and I don't know why I have to think that something of this has to fall on also them getting rid of Girardi after Game 7 in the ALCS. I feel like Girardi, because what we can only speculate is that he got fired because he wasn't a player's manager
for sure.
He calls out Gary Sanchez for his defensive lack of his lack of defense in that season, and Gary Sanchez wasn't cool with it, which I get it, but he's not wrong.
Yeah,
to call you out.
No, he's not.
You're the catcher. You're the fucking catcher, man.
Word. And by the way, I like Boone. I think Boone matured as a manager this year. I really like the moves that he made. One thing that I have to question is why continue to go to Ottavino in the postseason when he clearly didn't have it. Although in Game 6 he came in and he shut down. I think he struck out the side. But prior to that, he was like the first pitcher in baseball history to not be able to record an out in like 4 appearances or something. I have to question that, and I have to question all the lineup changes. I feel like every game was a different lineup. And I know A-Rod criticized him a lot for that. But other than that, I thought he managed a perfect season. I can't complain about this guy. How many managers can take a team to a Game 6 of the ALCS, win 100+ games, having had a record number of injuries, and never use it as an excuse at any point in the season?
Yep.
You know, for me, he's the manager of the year. It's between him and Rocco Baldelli in the AL.
Yeah, I'm good with him getting manager of the year. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, fans will complain about Cashman and Boone and this and that, but they still won 100 games in the season. They still went through 20-something injuries where they lost Judge for like 2 months. They lost Gary Sanchez twice. They didn't have Stanton all year. They did all of this without Stanton. They did all of this without Severino. So it's like,
at the end of the day, the players have to come through. It's on the players. They didn't come through when it matters most. To see fucking Didi Gregorius swing at the first pitch in key situations, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like,
to see people come. I mean, you have every right to get pissed at Didi, but the way that my dad was talking about Didi, like, I'm like, Jesus Christ, this guy was like a blessing when you figured out he can step into Jeter's shoes and perform.
Well, yeah,
and he's always been all right in the postseason. Like, it's not like he was like a Gary Sanchez type of performance in the postseason. So I'm telling you, all this just makes me feel like it's building up on the curse. The fact that everyone was coming at Cashman or not, something about not getting starting pitching, or again, you have the right to talk about Boone and Ottavino, but at the same time, I mean, Ottavino is supposed to be that guy that you're supposed to go to in that situation. He's a wipeout pitcher. You're supposed to bring him in, and he's supposed to not even let the ball get in play. He's supposed to strike the guy out. So yeah, it was a questionable move. I don't know if this is a computated analytical query that they used for these decisions. We'll never know, I think, but makes me think it's just feeding into the curse.
Maybe.
Only time will tell, though, and I could be completely wrong. The Yankees could win next year, and I'll admit that I was wrong. But if I'm right, man, good shit. This thing is documented.
Yeah. No, the Yankees moving forward, the Yankees have to acquire a frontline starting pitcher. Between Cole, you cannot let Chris Sale go past you again. You can't let Garrett Cole go past you again. Justin Verlander, you're getting a 4th chance here to acquire a top flight starter, an ace in Garrett Cole. You have to get him at all costs. Either him or Steven Strasburg. But I would like Garrett Cole. He has American League experience. He knows what the tricks up the Astros sleeves. So that's a plus for us. Give him his money. Give him his $35 million per season.
So
give him opt-outs. Bring him to the Bronx. We need a starter.
I agree that they need Garrett Cole or Strasburg. It has to be one of those guys, one or the other. But do you think realistically they're gonna get him? I don't see how they get Cole. I think Cole's gonna break the record, and the Yankees not gonna want to pay him that.
I feel like this last series was so heartbreaking. It almost reminds me of 2003 with the Red Sox. That Tim Wakefield, the Aaron Boone walk-off home run. And then in 2004 they came back and won it all. It almost feels like that to me. I'm not quite sure what moves were made. They were supposed to get A-Rod the next year. They didn't. I forget who they got in return. But anyway, they have to make Cashman will. I mean, not that he gives a shit because he gets ripped every single year. But I feel like it would be a failure on his part not to improve the starting rotation. To go out and give J Happ an extension last year instead of going after a better player, and I just feel like they just keep making the wrong move. They're almost operating like the Mets in a way. Although their moves are working out. Like, you're going for the B-level player instead of the A-level player. Right now you have Garrett Cole, who's arguably the best pitcher in baseball, the way he pitched this year. He's going to be...
In terms of youth? in terms of youth and what he did this year, I would say he is the best.
He's 29 years old. You give him a 5-year deal, he's only going to be 34 at the end of that deal. To put that into context, Justin Verlander's 36, and he's still pitching at this level. Max Scherzer, I think, is 35 or 36, still pitching at this level. You have to get Gerrit Cole. Have to get him. There's if you want to win a World Series, that's what it's going to take.
I agree, man.
And I'm sorry to keep interrupting. And you have CC coming off the books. Didi Gregorius is going to be a free agent. I hope that they sign him again. But if they don't, that's more money off the books. Dylan Betances, I'm starting to come to your side. I don't think he's going to come back. That's more money off the books. You're going to have money. And if you go over the fucking salary cap, that's okay, because the idea was to get under so that you don't keep paying these insane taxes. You got under it. You're not paying the taxes anymore. So your penalty is not going to be as bad had it been if you kept going over all these years. So no excuses this offseason, Cashman and Hal Steinbrenner. You have to get Gerrit Cole. I think it's a failure for the Yankees if they don't get him. He's the last piece. They're the only team out of all these teams that don't have a surefire ace. The Red Sox have Sale. The Astros have Verlander. The Dodgers have Kershaw. The Nats have Scherzer and Strasburg. Every team that's in the postseason has an ace except for the Yankees. They need to get one if they want to compete.
Yeah, even the Rays with Morton and
Glasnow.
Morton and Glasnow. Snell. I mean, Glasnow, you don't know, but he does have at least he has the potential to be on that ace status.
And the 2018 Cy Young, Blake Snell.
Oh, Jesus Christ, man! Spoil of riches over there.
Right.
Real quick, I just wanted to go through some of the metrics for the 2010 New York Yankees season in case this curse is a real thing. And real quick, I'm not an idiot. I understand that the Yankees have been a great baseball team since the last World Series, but other teams like the Red Sox in those 86 years, they were literally in the World Series. Mm-hmm. They had years where they were favorites to win the World Series and they came up short. So people still call it a curse. There's no way to prove that there is a curse out there because obviously the Red Sox broke it, the Cubs broke it, the Indians will one day break it. For all we know, this is just bad luck. But still, it's interesting. That year the Yankees were 95-68, second place in the division to the Rays. They lost Game 6 in the ALCS to the Rangers, who ended up losing to the Giants. Who I think that was the Giants' first World Series in those 3 World Series that they end up winning in that season. So in April, I don't want to spend too much time on this because man, we're so good, we're close to keeping these episodes under an hour, but it doesn't look like we're gonna get there again. In April, the Yankees beat Oakland and they matched the 1926 Yankees all-time franchise record of winning the first 5 series of the season. The only other team to do that was 4 series in a row. The 1922 Yankees, both the 1926 and 1922 Yankees went to the World Series, but lost. Dun, dun, dun. That goes on for another while. Mark Teixeira hits 3 home runs against the Red Sox, becoming the second Yankee in history since Lou Gehrig to do that against the Red Sox. Andy Pettitte wins his 200th game as a Yankee, becoming the 3rd player to achieve that feat. Brett Gardner significant here. Brett Gardner became the first player in MLB history to hit a grand slam and inside the park home run during back-to-back games.
Crazy.
On July 3rd and 4th. I don't know why I even read that one. August 1st, Alex Rodriguez, my guy, hits his 600th home run against the Blue Jays, becoming the youngest player to do that. And 4 days later, Derek Jeter passes Babe Ruth on the all-time list, knocking in a second inning single for his 2,874th hit. We know he goes on to hit 3,000. And September 18th, CC notched his 20th win for the first time in his career, becoming the first pitcher in 2010 with 20 wins. A-Rod notches career home runs 609 and 610. This might have been the season where A-Rod needed two home runs for 30 and like 7 RBIs for 100 RBIs, I think. Was it? I'm not sure. September 28th, Yankees clinched the playoff berth for the 15th time in the last 16 seasons. However, they lost the division crown to the Rays. Blah, 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 blah. Yankees failed to clinch the AL East after holding the lead on Labor Day for the first time since 1944. So that's kind of like a negative right there.
Oh, boy.
Hey, look at this. They faced the Twins and swept them in 3 games that season, too. Dun, dun, dun.
All right.
Hey, enough. Man. I think that's all I have to say for the curse. I really do want to make a YouTube video, but it's going to require not a lot of narrating, and I don't like hearing my voice. So
I'll narrate it for you, man.
All right. You got to say what I say, though, man. You gotta say what I write on paper.
I'm going to say it, but with a sarcastic tone.
All right, that's not going to work then. All right.
All right, man. Well, what are you going to do? I think that if you're a Yankees fan, you should keep your head up. You know, we had a good year. We didn't win it. Yeah. And you can't win them all, guys. You can't win them all. Next year's another year. Get Garrett Cole. You know, solidify that rotation. Giancarlo hopefully comes back healthy and can play a full season. And one thing we know for sure, with about 99% certainty, is that we'll be in the postseason again next year. It's going to take, you know, the same type of injuries this year, because there's no way that a team can do that 2 times in a year and come out on top. It's going to take that kind of, you know, bad luck to not make it to the postseason next year. This team has enough players that they're going to be able to compete again. We just have to find a way, like I said earlier in the episode, to beat the Bulls, because this is what this is. This is the Knicks and the Bulls in the 90s. They were the only thing stopping us from a finals championship. The only thing. And then fucking Michael Jordan retires for a year and Hakeem Olajuwon comes out of the woodwork. What the fuck? So, whatever. Fuck this. I'm going to go drink.
Yeah, speaking of basketball starts tomorrow. I think the national game is the Pelicans versus the Raptors, which is, you know, I don't know who decided that, because Zion Williamson is injured for 6 to 8 weeks.
Knee surgery
doesn't play for them anymore.
Yeah, knee surgery for Zion. I'm telling you guys, man, he's a good player. When he's healthy and he's on the court, you're gonna see something that you haven't seen in a very long time. But there's 2 things to keep an eye out on. One, that he does not leave the paint. He doesn't have a jump shot. He stays in the paint. And 2, the guy gets injured a lot. He's a very physical player. So hopefully he can learn how to develop his game a little bit more so he can stay healthier. But we're already seeing that this kid spends more time injured than he does on the court. I just hope that RJ Barrett is a beast.
Yeah, you know, I'm actually going to pay attention to RJ Barrett. I'm curious to see how he turns out. For Zion Williamson, man, he's a walking billion-dollar player or billion-dollar asset in terms of like revenue. So they should just let this guy take like whatever drugs he needs to take to stay on the court. They should just turn a blind eye and just let him take it. I'm okay with it.
Like, here's some steroids. You know, here's this bottle of something I found downstairs. Inject it in your ass while I turn around.
Yeah. And I also wanted to quickly mention before we sign off today, the Bills are 5-1.
All right, whatever.
Buffalo.
Who's that one loss? Pats?
To the Pats, yeah. And that was a good game. We could have won that game. Our quarterback was on concussion protocol and couldn't finish the game. And yeah, 16-10, I think was the final score of that game.
Okay.
Cool. Anything, Manny? Any last words before we end this?
Nothing. Just if the Yankees don't get Garrett Cole this offseason, I might hurt somebody. You heard it here.
Yeah. And okay, we're going to drop one more seasoned episode, obviously, once the World Series is over. Mm-hmm. I can't believe it's almost coming to an end, man.
Yeah, man. And just real quick, after that episode, we might take a little break because we're going to be trying to produce a video component to this. We've tried a couple of times in the past. It didn't work out so well, but I've been hard at work trying to figure out a way to do it, and I think I got it, but I want to just hash out a few more details, and then we're going to add a video component to this as well as the replay. And yeah, so just keep an eye out on that.
Yeah. Nice.
Word. All right, CT.
Follow us on Instagram. WTT.
WT the show.
WT the show. Ooh, sorry.
It's all good. It's on Twitter and Instagram at WT the show. And go to WTTSpod.com.
lot of good content on there.
And
guys, go ahead, Manny.
I was gonna say, and don't forget to check out the Hotheads podcast and the Replay podcast. You can find them anywhere podcasts are found. If you're looking for the Replay podcast on iTunes, just search for Welcome to the Show and they'll pop up together.
Yeah, and if you're listening to the show, just go up to a stranger, be like, can I borrow your phone for 2 seconds? Rate our show through their phone. And who knows, maybe you could be the start of something, something that goes viral. Maybe we could be the next big thing. You never know. You
never know, man. Not only should you take that person's phone and go ahead and rate and review our podcast. By the way, 5-star rating. You should also just go right ahead and click that subscribe button while you're at it. Fuck it.
Hell yeah, man. Take up some real estate on their phone memory. Buy them a cup of coffee afterwards, so you're only a complete weirdo doing this. But I think that if we can get this ball rolling, we're gonna use these powers for good. We're never gonna be too big and forget who we are.
No.
We're always gonna be who we are.
This is for fans. This is by fans for fans. CT. Nobody else.
Yes. Amazing. All right, man. Take it away.
All right. Peace out, everybody.
Peace.